football isn't just a game. It's glory, heartbreak, and legacy. Welcome to Footy Origins. The world was full of tension, politics, conflict, and division. But in 1904, FIFA was born. One man believed football could unite humanity. He had a crazy dream, a world united by football. So FIFA tested the idea at the Olympics. And suddenly, football exploded. The world was ready for the first World Cup. And tiny Uruguay was chosen. But there was one massive problem. Almost nobody wanted to come. And the World Cup almost died before it began. Imagine creating the biggest football tournament in history, and almost nobody comes. In 1930, FIFA launched the very first World Cup in Uruguay. But most European nations said no. The trip across the Atlantic was long, expensive, and risky. The brave teams that accepted climbed aboard giant steamships. For weeks, players crossed rough seas just to play football. Meanwhile, in Montevideo, workers raced against time to finish a stadium called Centenario. The tournament was in danger before it even started. Then came the final, Uruguay versus Argentina. More than 90,000 fans packed the stadium. After an intense battle, Uruguay completed a comeback and won 4-2. The first World Cup had survived, but a much darker storm was coming. What if the World Cup wasn't just football, but Owen? In 1934, Italy hosted the World Cup under the watchful eyes of dictator Benito Mussolini. For Mussolini, football was more than aim. It was the perfect propaganda stage. The stadiums were full, the flags were everywhere, and the pressure to win was enormous. Then came the controversial matches. Several referee decisions shocked players, journalists, and rival nations. Rumours spread that officials were under pressure, though the full truth remains debated even today. Despite the controversy, Italy kept advancing and eventually reached the final. When Italy lifted the trophy, Mussolini celebrated it as a victory for his regime. But while football celebrated, Europe was moving towards something much darker. Then World War II began, and the World Cup vanished for 12 long years. How did football rise again from the ashes? Imagine being just 17 years old and already conquering the biggest stage in football. In 1958, Brazil arrived with a skinny teenager named Pelé. Nobody knew it yet, but football was about to change forever. Pelé scored brilliant goals and helped Brazil win their very first World Cup. But Brazil wasn't just winning matches. They were turning football into art. Every pass felt like music. Every dribble looked impossible. Pelé, Jairzinho, Rivelino, and Carlos Alberto formed a team many still call the greatest ever. The world fell in love with one phrase: Jogo bonito. The beautiful game. But when Brazil looked unstoppable, disaster was already waiting ahead. One genius lost everything. Another cheated history. In the 1970s, the Netherlands changed football forever. Led by Johan Cruyff, every player attacked, defended, and switched positions. The world had never seen football played like this before. The Dutch stormed all the way to the 1974 World Cup final. Everyone thought the trophy was finally theirs. Then West Germany shattered the dream. Cruyff changed football forever, but never became world champion. 12 years later, another legend stepped onto the biggest stage. He punched the ball into the net and called it the hand of God. Minutes later, he dribbled past half the team and scored the greatest goal ever. One goal broke the rules. The other broke reality. But the World Cup isn't always about miracles. The World Cup creates heroes, but sometimes it destroys lives. In 1994, Colombia carried the hopes of an entire nation. Then one accidental own goal changed everything. Days later, Andres Escobar was murdered back home. A football mistake had become a real-life tragedy. 4 years later, another mystery shocked the world. Hours before the final, Ronaldo suffered a sudden medical emergency. He still played, but France took control. Zidane delivered France its first World Cup title. Then came 2006, and football's most famous headbutt. From heartbreak to mystery to unforgettable exits. The world was changing, and football was entering a brand new era. Brazil destroyed at home. 7 goals. One nightmare. Football was entering a completely new era. In 2010, South Africa made history. The first World Cup ever held in Africa. Then Spain started controlling the entire world. Pass after pass. Nobody could touch them. Tiki-taka became football's deadliest weapon. But football itself was changing too. One replay could now change everything. Then came Brazil. In 2014, Germany scored. And scored. And scored again. The world couldn't believe what it was seeing. And in the middle of all that chaos, 2 names ruled the world. For 15 years, football belonged to men. Messi, the boy called the next Maradona. Ronaldo, a machine built to score goals. One played like magic. The other played like a storm. They broke records again and again. And fans never stopped fighting over one question. Who was the greatest of all time? But one thing was still missing. The World Cup. Qatar became their final chance to become immortal. And in Qatar, history was finally written. They said Messi would never win the World Cup. But in Qatar, destiny was finally waiting. Argentina faced France for the biggest prize on earth. Messi played like a king. Argentina LED. And the world thought it was over. Then Mbappe exploded. 2 goals in minutes. A hat-trick in the final. At 23 years old. He looked unstoppable. The final became pure chaos. And then, Messi lifted the World Cup. But that same night, a new king was born. Now the World Cup is changing forever. 48 nations. More legends waiting to rise. But who will be the next legend? Football history never truly dies. This is Footy Origins. Subscribe for more football stories.